Fantasy Consortium's Wars of the Old World.
Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming in lovely Lund, Sweden. For today's episode of Wars of the Old World, we are going to be doing 1,750 points of the Tree Folk, the Wood Elves, versus 1,750 points of the Ogres. Now the idea I have for the scenario is something like this. The Tree Folk have surrounded their sacred shrine in the center of the forest of Thalanaer. And now the Ogres are marching from the north and the south in order to try and take over the shrine so that they can have the power of the shrine in their possession for their own purposes. We're going to go ahead and use some random deployment here in order to set up our units for both armies. So that should make things a little bit different and a little bit interesting. Well, before we take a look at that though, let's go ahead and take a look at the armies. For our first army now, we have 1,750 points of the Tree Folk. The Tree Folk are led here by a Treeman Ancient, a level 4 with the 4 spells Throne of Vines, Awakening of the Wood, Flesh to Stone, and the Dwellers Below. For core, we have 2 units of 10 each Dryads. And for special now, we have 3 units of Treekin, 1 unit of 6, another unit of 6, and 1 unit of 4. And finally for rare, we have 2 additional Treemen. So once again, there we have 1,750 points of the Tree Folk. For our second army now, we have 1,750 points of the Ogres. The army is led now by a level 3 Slaughtermaster, and we are using the Lore of Beasts. We rolled for Wissen's Wild Form, the Curse of Anraher, and Pan's Impenetrable Pelt. And joining him to the left now, we have a Firebelly level 1 with the spell Fireball, and to the right of him we have a Hunter. For our core now, to the left, we have a unit of 6 Ogres, and to the right we have a unit of 6 Iron Guts. For our special now, we have a unit of 4 Lead Belchers, and they are joined here by another unit of 3 Lead Belchers. In addition now, we have 2 Saber Tusks who will be joining the Hunter. And finally now, for our rare, we're breaking a few rules here in our list construction, but this is for the sake of the story. We have here on the left 2 Iron Blasters, and on the right we have a Scrap Launcher. So once again, this is 1,750 points of the Ogres. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the deployment here, starting with the Tree Folk, the High Elves. I said we were going to do some random deployments, so we did assign the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we rolled a d4 for each of the units. And this is the result here. We have some Dryads here, another unit of Dryads there. We've got Tree Folk also on this side, Tree Folk over here, Tree Folk, and then, strangely enough, we got all 3 of our Tree Men right here with our Treeman Ancient in the center. So all of them now surrounding the shrine and protecting it from the oncoming Ogres. And for the Ogre deployment now, we also used some random deployment. We assigned a 1, 2, 3 here for the north side, and a 4, 5, 6 now for the south side over there, and then we rolled off for each of the units. If we run over here to the south side first off, we see here that we have an Iron Blaster here, and we have 3 of our Lead Belchers with our Butcher there, as well as our Firebelly. Here we have our Scrap Launcher, and over off on this flank now we have 4 of the Lead Belchers. If we run over here now to the north side, coming in against here the Tree Folk, we have another Iron Blaster here over on the flank, and then we have a unit here of our Ogres, a unit of our Bulls, and our Hunter with the 2 Saber Tusks. So a fairly even distribution actually for the random rolling there. So we have our south and our north face coming here to the center to take on the Tree Folk. And it's also worth mentioning here that as part of their deployment, the Wood Elves were able to put down that forest before any of the Ogres were deployed. So the Tree Folk thought that that was a pretty good place. There was a big gap there, so they threw that forest right there to try and block things up. And we have decided in this scenario now to give the Ogres the first turn. So turn number 1 will go to the attacking army, the Ogres. Alright, charges to declare. We have got none at this moment, but we are going to go ahead and move up all of these guys and get them closer in range. Alright, and let's run over here now to the north side. Alright, let's go ahead and roll Winds of Magic. And there we have a 7. Do we get any channels? No channels there. Any channels for the tree folk? No. So we are looking now at a 7 to a 5. Alright, we've got mostly Hex and Augment spells. So let's go ahead and throw a Fireball with our Fire Belly, shooting right through here, line of sight, right onto our Treeman Ancient. And let's go ahead and throw 6 dice at it. And that looks pretty good. Let's see, did they dispel? And no problem dispelling without any problem there at all. We've only got 1 die left, so we will go ahead and end our magic phase. Shooting phase. Let's go ahead and run over here and start with these lead belchers, and let's go ahead and fire off a shot over here onto that treeman on the corner. Let's check line of sight. Alright, we are going to have line of sight, but it will be hard cover, so they will get some protection. Alright, in double checking range, we are amazingly about 1.5 inches out of range, so they're not actually going to be able to shoot, so they will be done now. Let's run over here and see if these guys are out of range. Alright, with these 3 lead belchers, we see that they are just within 24-inch range, so they will go ahead and take off their shots onto that Treeman Ancient. These 6 shots each, for a total of 13. 13 shots now, hitting on 5s. Not too bad now, and we will be wounding on 6s. Nothing. Alright, let's continue over on this side. We will have this guy right here. We're going to put a cannonball 10 inches from the back of the base of the tree man, so right about there. Alright, for overshooting now, 10, so we're going to be hit exactly on the back of the base and bouncing. Ooh, there's 1 misfire, we get to roll 2. No, 2 misfires! So 2 misfires means that the cannonball will stick on the end of the base, will get no bounce, which means it won't actually hit any of those guys behind him, but we will still be hitting the Treeman Ancient. Alright, here we go. We're going to be wounding on a 2. Yes, and D6 wounds. A total of 3. Alright, Scaly Skin is not going to be enough to prevent that, but we can go ahead and roll for our 6+ ward and preventing 1 of them, so the Treeman takes 2 wounds. Alright, last firing. Let's head over here to this Iron Blaster and see if there's anything that we can see. Unfortunately, when we get down low here, we can't see any of the tree folk there, but we do see some trees. Let's go ahead and blast some of those trees and see if we can remove them. Alright, let's go right up here and go 10 inches from the back of these trees. We'll put a cannonball right about here. Alright, 10 inches from the back, bouncing forward, 2 there, and overshooting 2, 4, and 10. So that is actually going to go right to these trees. And we'll say it does enough damage to hit these trees. We'll remove them out of play and open up that field a little bit more. Alright, there those trees are now removed, so we should now have a nice line of sight the next time that we want to fire into the tree folk. Alright, another shooting phase. We have no combat at this point, so let's go ahead and move to Tree Folk turn 1. Charges to declare, we have got none, but we are going to go and do a bunch of remaining moves in order to try and fill some of these gaps here and here. First thing we can do now is to move these guys up here. Let's move them their 10-inch march and try to get them to block some of that fire in that line of sight so they can protect their Treeman Ancient. And let's go here now with our Dryads and let's have them spin around like so. And we will march them up in this direction to try and fill this gap right in here. Next we can have this unit kind of swing over like this and also fill that gap there. Let's go ahead and swing this unit up like this and bring them flush with that unit of Dryads like so. This unit over here, let's go ahead and just spin them around like this. They'll do a wheel maneuver, have them face out this direction. That means we can bring our Treeman Ancient. Let's bring him around here and bring him right into this gap right there, facing down that unit. And finally, let's run over here to our Treekin and have them move up in the trees. And we'll do a bit of a wheel here. I'm just going to turn this guy like this, and we'll assume that the rest of them are actually in the woods. We'll leave them there for convenience, though. Winds of Magic, here we go. And look at that, a nice 10. Do we get a channel? Yes, 11. And here, another channel for the Ogres as well. So we are looking at an 11 to a 7. Alright, the first thing we want to do is cast Throne of Vines, and that has a casting value of 8. Let's go ahead and throw 3 at it, and we got it, no problem with a 10, 14. Ogres will let that go, they know what is coming. And with the Lore of Life attribute, we are going to actually move him back up to 5 wounds now. We can find it. There we go. 5 wounds. Next thing, let's go ahead and cast Awakening of the Woods, and we will go from him through this line of sight onto that unit that is in the woods. We need to show a 6. We'll throw 2 dice at it right now. And there is a 10, 14. Alright, that goes off successfully again, so this goes back to 6. He has full wounds again. Now, because this unit over here is partially within a woods, they are going to take 2d6 strength 4 hits. So let's go ahead and roll that off now. 2d6. And they will take a total of 8 strength 4 hits. Alright, here we go. Wounding on 4s. Wow, an amazing 7 wounds there. So their 5+ armor goes to 6+ saves. Here we go. Alright, making 2 armor saves, but they still take 5 wounds, which means one of these guys will come off the back and will take 2 more wounds from another guy, putting one guy down to a single wound. Alright, last spell. We're going to go ahead and cast Dwellers Below from him through here into those guys right there. And we are going to have to cast the larger version, so we need a 21 plus. Let's throw all 6 dice at it and see what happens. Bingo. Irresistible Force, so their dice are going to be wasted there. Let's go ahead and see if we ignore it on a 2 plus for Awakening of the Wood. And yes. And just a quick correction, because we have Throne of Vines, Awakening of the Woods actually would be a strength 6. So we did roll a 2 for one of those guys, so we can roll one more here. One more save of a 6. No, so he will actually take that last wound and we will remove him from play. And it's actually really good we went back and did that, because they need to take a leadership test now on an 8. And they are going to be fine. So let's go ahead and see what happens now with the Dwellers Below. Alright, these guys are strength 4, so on a 5 or 6, the model is removed outright. Here we go. And look at that, 2 of them are going to be gone. Alright, that's the end of the magic phase. A really successful magic phase for the tree folk. They have no artillery weapons, or they can't shoot them because they're, well, trees. So that will be the end of the shooting phase and the end of their turn. Let's run over here now and turn us over to turn number 2 for the Ogres. Alright, charges to declare. We've got a pretty shooty army, so we're not going to charge anything over there. Not over here either. But I do think we're going to get a couple charges in over here. Let's start over here with these guys, and we'll have them charge here into, let's have them go into the Treekin. And the Treekin will in fact hold. And let's have this other unit of Ogres, let's have them charge into the Dryads. And the Dryads will also hold. Alright, let's roll these out here. We need an 8 over here. And no, we got out the 7, so they're going to go ahead a simple 6. And here we need a 9, so they're going to go ahead 4. And there's their final position on those failed charges. Remaining moves, let's start over here and move this guy up a little bit. I'll just twist him in place like this, move him up his 6 inches like that, and twist him back like that, so he has a shot off on those Dryads. Next, let's run over here and let's go ahead and move up our Hunter and those 2 Saber Tusks. Let's actually take this one and we'll move him right through the woods, and we're going to use him for a little bit of redirecting. We'll put him right here so that they will not be able to make a charge off on those guys, but instead they will have to hit and actually turn and square up that way. Next, let's run back over here and we'll have this Saber Tusk. Let's run him right over here and we'll put him right there for some potential flanking business there later. And let's go over here and go ahead and move him up into the forest here. There we go, the Hunter right there out of the front arc of that unit. And finally, let's run on over here. We're not going to have these guys actually move at all. They are in pretty good position to do some shots right there. But let's go ahead and slide those guys up a little bit right there. And I think we should actually just dedicate their entire move to a wheel maneuver, which will bring them up right there. And hopefully that will help them get some line of sight here over on those treemen as they pop through the woods there. Alright, end of the movement phase. Let's go ahead and roll for the Winds of Magic. Here we go. Wow, a strong roll there, and we've got 2 channels. No, nothing there. A channel for the tree folk? No. So we are looking at a 10 to a 6. Alright, first thing we're going to do here is go ahead and cast Fireball from this guy right here, and we'll put it right onto that tree man. He has a nice line of sight for this magic missile. We're going to do the huge version, which is an 18 plus, would be 3d6 hits. So we need to show 14 here. and we got
the 19, we're going to try to dispel with 6 dice, and we got it 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 22. So that is going to be dispelled. Next, let's go ahead and try the Curse of Anra here from our Butcher here. We'll cast it over onto that guy who is going through terrain there. Maybe that will help trip him up a little bit. We need to show a 10, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got it with a 12. So that will go off now and give him a -1 to hit, and also make all terrain dangerous terrain with fails on 1s or 2s. So there we go. Alright, that's the end of the magic phase. Let's run over to shooting. We have got a lot of shooting to do. And I realized in our last shooting phase, in all the excitement with the with all of these iron blasters, I forgot that we also had a scrap launcher. Poor scrap launchers are always forgotten, but we will not forget them this turn. Alright, so let's go ahead and start out with our scrap launcher then. We're going to face him right over here at this guy, and we will put our template right on top of his head like so. Let's go ahead and roll this out. And it's going to be a misfire. On the misfire chart, we got a 1, which is a crunch. The scrap launcher comes apart in a shower of metal, wood, and broken knobbler limbs. The scrap launcher is destroyed. Well, that was a poor showing for our first use of this bad boy, but we're going to have to take it off the table. Well, let's see if our iron blasters here can do any better. Let's go on this guy 10 inches from the back of the base, so right about there. Overshooting 10 inches, so hitting the back of the base. Do we have a bounce? We roll twice, 10 and 8, so we take the highest. That'll go 10 inches out that direction, hitting nothing. But we will still be hitting this guy. Alright, we're going to be wounding on a 2. No wounds. That is amazing. So he is going to escape that massive cannonball. Alright, well let's go ahead and continue on him, and we'll shoot with these 3 guys right here. So we've got 3d6 shots. Oh goodness, 12, 14 shots. Alright, we're still in long range, so we're hitting on 5s. Not too great. Wounding on 6s now. For nothing. And let's run over here now to these guys and see if they actually have any line of sight. When we get down here and look really closely now, we see that we do in fact have line of sight with 2 of the guys onto that one tree man there. Alright, d6 shots, and a measly 3 shots. They're going to be at long range, so they're going to be 5s and 6s. 1 hit and a wound on a 6. No. Alright, let's come on over here now to this iron blaster right here, and we will go ahead and take a shot onto this unit. We'll put it right here. We'll go 10 inches from the back, which puts them right about here. First bounce, 4 inches overshooting and bouncing a total of 2, but we have a double roll there, so bouncing a total of 2, and that is going to lead us short. So really terrible shooting phase thus far. Let's run over here to our last guy, and that is the hunter. He can fire off a shot with his, I think it's a throwing spear. We'll go into this unit right here. On second thought, we'll have him go from here into this unit. That way he'll be in short range with his total of 12 inches on that throwing spear here. So we're going to need a 3 to hit. No. Alright, so that was a terrible shooting phase. Not much that happened there. And we had no successful charges, so we have no combat. That brings us to the end of Ogre turn 2. Let's go on to the Tree Folk turn 2. Alright, charges to declare. We have got a lot to do here. We're going to declare some charges with these guys right here. We'll have this guy declare a charge onto him, and he will hold. He causes terror, but he causes fear, so we'll have to make sure we take a fear test, but we don't need a terror test. Second of all, we will declare a charge with this guy onto that unit here, and they will also hold. Let's keep going with our charges and run over here to this side over here, and we're going to go ahead and declare a charge with the Dryads against this guy, this Iron Blaster, and he will hold. Alright, these guys, we're going to keep them where they are so we can get a little more magic cast onto these guys right here. But we will go ahead and declare a charge with this unit against the hunter. And the hunter is going to flee. Here we go. Fleeing away. Let's see how far he goes. Total of 4 inches. Now the question is, do we want to continue to pursue, or do we want to redirect? Well, we measured it out here, and we're going to need 11 inches to catch him. So we're going to go ahead and carry out that charge. So let's go ahead and move our hunter his 4 inches that direction. Bringing him right about there. Okay, let's go ahead and roll these off now. We got the treekin against that hunter, and we need to show a 7 in order to catch him. And we show a 6. No, moving ahead 5 inches then. And there's their final position right there. Let's come over here now and roll off this one. We need to show a 5 in order to make this a successful charge. Here we go. Oh my goodness! 3 inches ahead. This is terrible. So there is their final position there on their failed charge. Alright, we got to do better than this on these charges. We have 2 more over here. Let's go ahead and roll off these tree men and see if we can make it in there. Alright, let's start with this guy right here. We need to show an 11. No, he's going to go ahead 4. Last guy here, no, we need a 7, an average 7. Come on. 6! Oh my gosh! I can't believe this! And just unbelievably poor rolls here. This is going to bring him right here, and we need to take a dangerous terrain test on a 1 or 2. Okay, he's fine with that at least. So that is how that is going to end up. We have had just utterly terrible charge rolls, so nothing getting into combat now for the tree folk. Let's go ahead and move on to the Winds of Magic. And there is a 6. Do we get a channel there? No. 2 channels for the ogres. Yeah, there's 1 channel there. So we have a 6 to a 4. Okay, we're going to try this now. Awakening of the Woods. We're going to take a chance here. 6 plus. We're going to throw 1 die at it. If we get a 1 or a 2, we lose concentration. But we're going to go from here over onto these guys because they are in the woods. We will get the bonus for the Throne of Vines. So here we go. We need to show a 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yes, we got a 6. So that's a total of 6, 4, 10. And the ogres will let that go because they know what is coming. Alright, let's come on over here now. 2d6, strength 6 hits. And there will be a total of 6. Alright, here we go. Wounding on 2s. And look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total. Which means that we will remove one of these guys and the other guy will be dropped down to 2 wounds. Sorry, 1 wound. Alright, and for our last spell, we have got to do it. Dwellers below, we're going to go from here over onto this unit that is in the forest there. We have got 5 dice. Let's throw 5 dice at it. And let's see, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21. It goes on. And here we go for ogres. We're going to throw the rest of our 4 dice at it. No, we did not get a dispel. So that is going to go off. Let's go ahead and roll for each one of these guys right here. All right, strength 4. So on a 5 or 6, they're going to be removed. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, 3 of them are going to be gone. So we're going to take 3 guys off the back. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so another successful magic phase for the tree folk. We don't have any combat because we failed all of our charges, so that brings us to the end of turn 2 for the tree folk. Let's run over here now and flip us over to turn 3. Ogres. Alright, let's go ahead and do the movement phase. Charges to declare. Let's go ahead and declare a charge here on those guys. And they're going to go ahead and actually flee. Fleeing a total of 11 inches. And there is their final position there. Iron Blaster will try to redirect on a leadership of 7. He gets it. So we're going to redirect our charge over onto those guys. And they are going to hold. Next thing, let's run over here. And we're going to have both of those units that are remaining over here declare charges. First into these guys, they will hold. And they will also go into them. They will hold. Alright, let's roll these out. These guys can't fail. They need to show a 2. These guys with a 3. Yeah, they're both in. And that's how that combat will look. There is no ogre charge there, so no additional bonuses. Alright, this is a chariot, so it counts with swift stride, so we need to show a 6, and we got it with a 10, so they will also crash in there. And we'll leave this right here so we make sure that we account for impact hits. Alright, that's the end of charges. Let's go over here for compulsory moves and see if we can get him to rally over here. Rallying him on a leadership of... No! 9 is not good enough. He is going to continue 6 more inches. Alright, remaining moves. Let's go ahead and get this kitty and take him out of here. We're going to bring him flying and put him right over here. Now let's take this kitty and bring him over here, like so. And let's run over here and do a couple remaining moves here. Let's back these guys up a little bit, and we're going to actually bring them a little bit closer. Alright, let's slide them back right about to here. And let's go ahead and pull him back to right about here. So there's their relative position to those guys. That'll make that charge a little more difficult. And let's move over here now and do a little bit of moving with these guys. And all we're going to do here is just do a slight wheel again. in case those guys move up a little bit more. But there we go. Pretty decent shot right there on that. Winds of Magic, here we go, and a 7. And do we get a channel here? No channel there. A channel from the tree folk? No, so we're looking at a 7 to a 6. Alright, first thing first, this spell actually comes off the Curse of Anna here. That only lasts 1 round, but we can go ahead and cast it again if we like. Alright, first off, we're going to do Fireball once again from this guy. We're going to have it fire right up here onto him. Let's go ahead and throw 6 dice at it. We're doing the massive one, which is 18 plus. Oh, I don't think we're going to get that. 9, 10, 11, plus our level 1, 12. That is not enough to go off. Alright, well let's have our butcher try instead here. Let's do the same curse. We'll put it on this guy again. Let's throw 2 dice at it. 5, 6, 7, 11. It just goes off. These guys, they're going to throw everything at it and they dispel it. So that is the end of the magic phase. Rather uneventful. Let's go ahead and do some shooting. Alright, let's start off with these 4 guys. We're going to go shoot here. We are long range, so we will be hitting on 5s. First, let's roll for d6 shots. And, oh man, look at that. The opposites of one another. So that's a total of 14 shots. 5s and 6s. Nothing. Alright, let's run over to these guys right here. We're going to have these 3 fire up onto him. 3, 6. We got 11 shots. And they are just in long range. So we're going to need 5s here and 6s. A little bit better here. 6s to wound. Nothing. Alright, let's take this guy. We're going to go over here. Cannonball from 10 inches from the base. So right about here, we're going to be overshooting 4 inches. First bounce goes 10. Second goes 4. So we're going to go overshoot 4, 10 through. So he will get hit right on. Wounding on a 2. Oh, I can't believe it. So that is going to be it for the shooting phase. Our other Iron Blaster is in combat over there. So let's go ahead and take care of our combats. Alright, the only combat we have is right down here between these Dryads and these Ogres. But let's first go ahead and do impact hits here. D6, 6 of them. Wow, that's amazing. And we are going to be wounding on 3s. Whoa! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of them are going to wound. Let's go ahead and take 6 off the back here. So there's how it's going to look after that Iron Blaster comes crashing in there. Let's go ahead and start out with our initiative with the Dryads. They will start by swinging. Alright, we can start out with these 3 Dryads here. We'll have them attack into these guys right here, these Ogres. Now, they have fear and they have fear, so we don't need any fear tests. 2 attacks each, and they have hatred the first round. So here we go. We're going to be hitting on 3s. And oof, good thing we have hatred. We'll re-roll those right there. It helped a little bit. And wounding now on 5s. 5, 6 save for heavy armor, and he got it. And the final one now here coming in onto that Iron Gut, and we are going to be wounding on 5s. Look at that. Excuse me, hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s, and we got 1 wound there. 5, 6 save. And no, so we're going to drop one of those guys down 1 wound, so we will be down to 2 wounds there. Okay, right here we have a Nobbler Scrapper coming back. We're going to be hitting on 4s. No. Let's do the Rhinox here. We're going to be hitting on 4s. Wounding on 3s. Got it. And I just realized I've been missing the ward saves on our Dryads. So they have a ward save on a 6. So let's go ahead and do that. We get 1 Next, of them back. Let's do our Lead Belcher and our 2 Ogres together for a total of 9 attacks.
We are looking for 4s to hit, and now 4s to wound.
So 1 guy coming off the side there.
And last of all, let's take our 2 Iron Guts here. They have always strikes last because of their great weapons. So we're going to be hitting on 4s, and not too bad. And we're going to be wounding on 2s because of the great weapon strength 6.
And 3 wounds is going to be enough to take out the last 3, so we'll pull those guys right there. We're going to have to do some overrunning here. These guys are not going to be able to overrun, but he will. So let's go ahead and do the Swift Stride, roll that one out. And yeah, 9 inches. That's going to bring him crashing forward. Boom, right into our Treeman Ancient. And we can go ahead and slide these guys back in. There you go, a pretty powerful combat for the Ogres, and that brings us to the end of the combat phase for the Ogres and the end of Ogre turn 3. Let's go ahead and move on to Tree Folk turn 3. Alright, charges to declare. Let's come over here and do this again. We will charge these guys and they'll have to hold. Slow to fire, they cannot stand and shoot. Same thing, let's send this guy over into that and he will hold as well. Alright, let's go ahead and roll these out. For this first one, we're going to have to show a 7. And he gets it with an 8. And the next one, we need to show a 9. No, 6, so he's going to go ahead 3 inches. Alright, let's run over here and do some compulsory moves. Let's see if we can rally these guys on a leadership 10. Yeah, oh, they just got it. Their general is right there, so they are within range. Let's go ahead and spin them around and have them face that Iron Blaster. And that's how they look now when they have been spun around to face down that Iron Blaster. Remaining moves, let's go over here and let's go ahead and just reform both of these. And their final position there. Let's move over here now last of all, and let's go ahead and march these guys up. We'll just send them right up this direction. And there they go, making a little wheel there and coming up right equal there with their other tree man. Alright, let's move on to Winds of Magic. And 7, do we get a channel? No channel there, 2 channels for the Ogres. No, so we're looking at a 7 to a 6. Alright, because we are in combat here with our Treeman Ancient, we cannot cast any direct damage spells, so we're just going to go ahead and do Flesh to Stone, and we will go ahead and throw all 6 dice at it. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 26. No problem. Can they dispel it? No, they cannot. So we actually get a +4 toughness to our tree man for this coming combat. Alright, end of the magic phase. Like we said, we have no shooting, so let's go ahead and do our combats. We have the tree man way over here, and we also have the Treeman Ancient here. So let's begin way over here with this tree man in this combat over here. First off, we need a fear test for the Ogres, and they're going to get it with an 8. Okay, highest initiative goes to the Butcher here. He is in the 2nd rank, so he's only going to be able to get 3 attacks on hitting on 4s and wounding on a 6. No, Tree Man coming back. Let's go ahead and do 5 attacks on 3s. Yes, and wounding on 3s. Not too bad. That'll be enough to take away one of these guys. Still tied initiative here though, so we still get 9 attacks back onto the Tree Man. We're going to be hitting on 4s, and we're going to be wounding on 6s. Not bad. 3+ goes to a 4+, and we made a save there. 2 of them there, that was only 1 left, and a ward save on a 6, and he gets it. And the Fire Belly now, 3 attacks on 4s, and wounding on 6s. We got 1 wound, we've got a 4+ save, got it. So if you figure out combat resolution now, we've got a charge by the Tree Man, and he did 3 attacks. No banners, nothing back there, so they're going to lose by 4. Leadership 8 down to a 4, this is huge! Oh, to the 5, they didn't get it. They're going to turn around and flee. Unbelievable. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. They're going to turn and flee. Let's see how far they go. They're going 10 inches. This is going to take them off the board. Let's see if we can roll to restrain here. On an 8, he does. He's going to restrain and turn towards them. These guys are removed from play. Alright, that was a massive combat, probably the game-changing combat right there, but let's run over here and go ahead and take on this combat with our Treeman Ancient and this Iron Blaster. Let's start out 1 attack by the Nobbler here on a 5, yes, and a 6. Next, let's do the Lead Belcher here, 3 attacks. We're going to be hitting on 4s and wounding on 6s. And of course, fear check. Ah, no, so they're actually fearing them, so that will make a little bit of a difference, but they haven't hit yet anyway. And finally, the Rhinox here in the front. We got 3 attacks, so we're going to be on 5s. There's only 1 and 6s. No. 3 attacks now, coming back on 3s. Yes, and 5s. No. Alright, so no wounds done here. Technically, this guy charged in, so he won the combat by 1. He, however, is stubborn. It doesn't matter. We can roll anyway. Yeah, he's fine with a leadership of 9. So there you go. That is the end of the combat for the Tree Folk. That brings us to the end of Tree Folk turn 3. Let's run over here and flip us over to game turn 4. Let's see if we can do anything at all to save the situation now for the Ogres. Charges to declare. Let's see here. We've got none over here. We're going to do some shooting, so we're not going to charge anything there. Over here, I don't think we can. We're in combat there. These guys are not going to be able to get in combat, so no charges there. Compulsory moves. Let's go ahead and see if we can roll for this guy, if we can rally him. And he does. Let's just turn him around now and face him back into this combat like so. Remaining moves, let's run over here and let's go ahead and reform these guys. Now remember, it was 2 units there, so when we reform them, we get 2 units that look like that. And we can go ahead now and try to move those saber tusks over here. This first one, we're going to go ahead and just slide him up here, bring him right here. and block that possible charge there. And the second one here, we can actually just slide this one up right through the forest, bring them right here on the side, and just step them in just like that. All right, there we go, end of the movement phase. We have got no magic because our mages are all gone. Let's go ahead and do some shooting over here. And of course, before we do that, I forgot we need to move these guys. Let's go ahead and give them a little bit of a wheel, and then move them up 3 more inches, like so. And there we go. Now we can go ahead and do some shooting. Starting with these guys, shooting over here on this tree man, 46 shots, and there is 11. All right, here we go, hitting on 4s, and not too bad, I guess. Wounding on 6s, nothing. All right, let's run over here and have this guy, he's gonna fire a cannonball here, 10 inches from the base, the back of his base, so right around here, and that's gonna be misfire right away. Rolling now on the misfire chart. That will be a 1, a crack-a-boom. The much-abused cannon finally gives up under constant mistreatment by the ogres and explodes spectacularly, showering red-hot shrapnel and cannonballs in all directions. The Iron Blaster is destroyed, and all units within D6 takes 2d6 strength, 5 hits. Let's measure this out. And oh, so fortunate for the tree man, here is 6 inches, and he is just outside of that, so he will not take any damage, but this guy is going to be removed from the battlefield. What a tough shooting phase. Alright, things are not going great for the ogres. That is the end of their shooting phase. Let's run over here now, and this is the only combat we have between this Iron Blaster and the Treeman Ancient. Nobbler on a 5. Nope. Lead Belcher here on 4s. Not even hitting. Rhinox on 4s. 2 hits and 6s because of the massive toughness. Coming back with the Treeman Ancient on 3s, and we've got 2 and 5s. No. So another tie combat there, nothing happened. That will be the end of the combat phase and the end of the Ogre turn number 4. Alright, if we draw back now and we take a look and survey the battlefield, I think we have a good reason to call the game now in favor of the tree folk. If we take a look at what's going on over here, let me just walk you through this. These two guys are going to be making successful charges on here and decimating that unit. These guys are just way too strong. Eventually, these guys right here, the tree cannon, are able to swing around and join the fight or head back in this direction. We're going to be charging in here, and they'll be fighting on that Iron Blaster, and eventually we're going to come crashing into this Saber Tusk. If he doesn't flee, we're going to take this unit out and crash right through into that unit. So the ogres don't really have much left other than that other saber tooth right there, which we will take out with those treekin, and a lone hunter over there. So I think it is pretty safe to say without very much doubt at all that the tree folk are going to take this victory without a problem. And that is where it will stand at the bottom of turn 4. Victory to the tree folk. And if we stay now with the story of this scenario, the victory for the tree folk means that they have now successfully defended their sacred monolith. The ogres were unable to claim it and to claim its power, and the tree folk will go on to live many more years in this forest with their sacred power.
Well, there you have it, folks. 1,750 points of the tree folk, the wood elves, versus 1,750 points of the ogres. Always fun to try different deployment options and different scenario options here, especially with the random deployment. Made it a lot of fun. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of Wars of the Old World. We would be even more happy, however, if you would join us here in Lune to play a game of Fantasy Battles or Mordheim with us. If you're interested in doing that, please go to www.greyarmygaming.com and click on the contact link where you can send us a message and we can try to set up a game at our local gaming store here in Lund, Sweden. Well, thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming and the Fantasy Consortium for the future of fantasy.